Purple Collective, you have something up your sleeve lately. I don't know what it is, but you've got some sort of secret brewing that's going to shock people. I'm also getting Archangel Zadkiel, and Zadkiel is often associated as he's has the title of Archangel of Mercy, Forgiveness, and Benevolence. He's associated with purple, specifically the violet flame. So this might be an angel you either work with or that just tends to be in the energy of this purple collective. He is also associated with freedom, memory, spiritual energy for transformation and healing. But yeah, if you're trying to forgive someone, you're trying to move past something, release, negative emotions and past things, he's a great angel to help with that. I find him to be very gentle. He's often the patron angel of people who forgive. So if you're someone in this collective who has him as your archangel or has him as your guardian angel, you may be someone who has forgiven a lot of people in your life. This could be people who did you wrong. This could be people who didn't even do you wrong, but like you pardoned their sins kind of energy. Because collective, you have a lot of power to influence the divine that if you decide to pardon someone, they can be pardoned, like not always necessarily, but sometimes. Like you have that ability to absolve people from the negative karma they took on. So this can manifest as people who are stuck in karmic loops that they can't seem to get out of, that they're trapped in. You can show up in their life and offer them this hand and extend to them this freedom and say basically, hey, if you want to escape the karmic loop forever, take my hand, come with me. Thinking that Terminator, like, come with me if you want to live. That might be a little bit of your energy collective, that you save people from themselves. You save people from the worst versions of themselves. That was an interesting little side tangent. I wasn't expecting to go so much into Archangel Zadkiel with this, but anyway, back to your secretive energy collective. You've got this mystery around you, and I feel like something is brewing. I feel like you have something up your sleeve that you're going to show people. There was a time this weekend where I was thinking about you guys, and I looked at the ground, and there was a purple, like, spatter, and it looked very similar. Like, there was a symbol in it that looked really similar to the one that I put in, like, in the channeling for this collective previous to this channeling. Like, it's like this little diamond shape pattern that's actually 4 little diamonds to make up the pattern. But anyway, I was just like dumbfounded. I was looking at the floor in this cabin, that not my home, someone else's place, and it's like, wow, you guys are even out here. So I feel like you're a collective with really far reach. Like, you would just extend out beyond horizons. Like, when people think they're free of you, they're not. You can take that how you will. So lovers may resent you for this. Enemies may hate you for this because you just kind of keep showing up. You just keep popping up. I hear like a bad pimple that won't go away. Um, you are definitely a thorn in some people's sides, collective. And that's not anything to do with who you are as a person per se. That's simply because your energy is so pervasive that it can just be felt for a long time. You may not realize you're doing this even. You may not even realize you have that quality to you, but you've got this very magnetic quality that's hard to let go. And I'm saying 333 on my timer as I say that. It's hard for other people to move past you. It's hard for other people to move beyond you once you've been in their life, because they'll keep seeing things. They'll see like your name, they'll see your numbers that are associated with you, your address, your phone. Like, they'll keep seeing stuff that reminds them of you. And this can really irritate the heck out of some people because, excuse me, getting a little confirmation burp there. Some people may really wish they could just be rid of you, collective. They just want to get away from you because you stir up so much trouble inside them and they hate you for it. They're like, all sorts of expletives are running through my mind right now. They just get really mad at you, basically. And they want you to leave them the F alone. They're like, stop, collective, get out of here. What are you doing in my brain, in my skull? Stop. Like, almost like little sibling energy in a way. But for some of you, this is lovers. This may be family, this may be lovers, maybe past friendships. People find it hard to forget you, collective, because you're not a forgettable person. You're a person that shows up and offers the opportunity to change to people, and they are aware of it when the moment has passed. Like, in the moment, I'm getting some of these people may not realize you're extending your hand to them or that that's what this is, but they see you and they think, oh, this person's doing things differently. Weird. And then they kind of think about it and you may kind of oscillate a little bit, or like they will kind of oscillate a little bit, and then they'll decide to either go forward with you or step away from you again, because your energy is such that it can't be contained. And so people can't really stay in one position relative to you. They have to kind of either move on or move forward. Like there's no going backwards. There's only branching out in a different direction than you're going in, or walking the direction you're walking in. Um, so here, collective, you may piss people off because you feel like this leader, even if they don't want you to be a leader. Like you have this presence that commands respect and wisdom and authority. And you don't really mean to do this. It's just that your energy exudes such confidence, and you're so meticulous, and you're so mystically inclined that there's just kind of no escaping you. It's like everywhere someone looks, they'll see, purple, or they'll see your name, they'll see your things. It's so hard to escape you, collective. If you've ever had people who are obsessive about you, or who keep thinking about you, who keep reaching out to you, or people that just resent you forever, this is why. You have a very astringent quality to your aura, and it pricks people. And some people will enjoy that sensation of being pricked. Some people I'm getting like they are seeking stimulation. They're seeking a form of excitement, and you offer that form of excitement. You offer the opportunity of transformation. But other people are looking to stay a little more stagnant and maybe just kind of keep going with their journey as it is, or keep looping in those karmic cycles. Those people that aren't yet ready to leave those cycles, it's kind of like trying to interrupt them on a roller coaster ride halfway through. And you're like, I saved you from the drop. And they're like, the drop is the best part. So I'm getting some people really get a thrill out of their toxic loops. And when you try gently breaking them out of it, they get really upset at you, collective. They get really upset, and they think that you're to blame for everything. You're the problem. Like they externalize all their problems with the situation onto you. And they're like, if collective just wasn't here right now, if collective just wasn't around, if I never met collective, then God, everything would be so much better. And they just get really pissed off about it. I'm kidding. I saw 7-Eleven there, which is interesting because I associate that with angels. So I'm going to tie this back into Zadkiel. I feel like Zadkiel is so heavily in your guys' energy in this collective because he's associated with mercy and forgiveness. Because you, collective, I'm actually getting annoyed as I have to say this. You have to forgive a lot of people for stuff that you never even did wrong. You have to forgive a lot of people for hating you for like doing nothing. Basically, you have to be the bigger man or the bigger person all the time. And I get that this really drags on you. It gets really annoying and old and tiring. And so you're like, how many times am I going to have to be the nice person? Like, how many times am I going to have to literally turn the other cheek, or like change hands, change directions, and pretend like they're not the problem? I feel like a sense of annoyance in you, collective, when you think about people like this. It just pisses you off because these other people don't realize the gift you were in their life. They won't realize that gift until you're gone. And I am getting, collective, and when you're gone, your absence is felt. The hole you leave behind is felt for like decades. People just never seem to be able to forget about you. And with time, the rage often softens. The rage dims away, and then all people can remember is like all these good things you did, and that can just piss them off all over again because they're mad that they have these good memories of you. They're mad that like you were right about things. They're mad you made insightful commentary on their life, or you try to help them and you try to be the bigger person, and they reacted really short-tempered, really quick. And then you kind of stepped away just like, okay, if that's how you guys feel, that's how it is, and I'm not going to argue with it. You left with your pride intact. I'm hearing a lot of times, collective, like even when you would try over and over, like you eventually learned to stop doing that, and you just started to like leave with your pride intact, and you allowed other people to think they like quote unquote won, or that they were like the victors, but you knew inside that they weren't. And you also knew they weren't ready to admit that you are. And you realized, collective, and I'm feeling very empowered as I say this and very passionate, you didn't need their approval to be right. You knew, like you learned how to figure out, oh, I'm right, and I don't need them to tell me it. I can just know it. And sucks to be them because they're not going to see this for like a year or 5 years or 10 years from now. But oh well, that's not on me. And like you almost leave better than when you came because you alchemize this experience. This is like this phoenix energy I'm getting is like, it's almost like losing a friendship or losing a relationship or something. Like you've been through it so much, you've been through the rebirth process so much, you're just like, oh, okay, time for another one of these. Like, and you just really quickly embrace the lessons it teaches you. And it's that law of like detachment coming back in, collective. That's just like you've mastered how to detach from reality. And so when you detach from reality, reality has no effect on you. It can't sway you because you're no longer being affected by the same polarities that are affecting everyone else. You step back and you see the bigger picture. You realize just because a bad thing, quote unquote, happens to you today, it's only ever bad in the perspective that you choose to view it in. If you viewed it in another perspective, it could be great. For example, collective, let's say you get accepted to one college, or you want to get accepted to one college and you don't. You get accepted to your backup school and you're so disappointed, like, oh my God, I wanted to go to the college I wanted to go to. I'm at the backup school, da, da, da. But you decide, I'm just going to lean into it and embrace this experience for what it is. So then you go to your backup college, and then guess what? You get an internship opportunity, you meet the love of your life, you discover a minor that you didn't even like in sociology or some other, whatever little thing you can add on to your main degree, and that expands your horizons and you discover new interests. I'm seeing 1111 on my timer as I say this, and we're on August the 11th, so very powerful energy of alignment right there. And collective, because you were open to that new experience that was different than what you initially wanted. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 now. But you decided to be open to it. Like your whole world opens up because of that quote unquote small motion, that small action. You just took that inspired action, you just went with it, and that paid off big time. But yeah, you're someone who, when a friendship doesn't work out, you just kind of shrug and say, well, it's their loss. And it truly is collective because you are a loss. You are a loss to suffer. When people lose access to you, when people lose your friendship or companionship, they feel that for like decades. I'm not exaggerating. There are people from your teens, from your childhood, from your 20s that you look back, even for some of you for your 30s, they look back and they remember you, collective. They remember, man, I really loved that person. Man, that person was collective was a great friend. Man, collective was one of the best coworkers I ever had. Man, I never would have made it through XYZ if collective hadn't been there for me, supporting me through it. Yeah, I'm getting collective. You have been a rock for so many people. You don't even realize it. People thank you long after you're gone with gratitude. You'll never hear it from their face, but there are some people who do think of you deeply with gratitude, and they wish they had a way to tell you this, and it makes them emotional. I'm feeling their energy of this, of like there are people in your life you've encountered who responded very bitterly and darkly in the moment. And there's this energy of they want you to know that they didn't understand these things when they happened, but after the dust settled and after you two were no longer talking, they eventually realized you were right about certain things, and they like thanked you for it. In their mind, they forgave you and thanked you and walked away. And they just never forgot you. After that, they have a softened view of you, and they just say, man, collective was so ahead of their time. I had no idea. Like, I thought I was in the right. I thought I knew everything. Come to find out after all these years, no, collective actually was on it the whole time. And it really hurts these people to realize that. It really does make them feel bitter for a little bit when they realize if only they knew what they knew now, they could go back and like save you, collective. I'm seeing 333 there. They could go back and help you. They could heal you. They could make it work together with you. But like, you're no longer there, collective. You're gone. They have no access to you. They don't have your phone number, your address, you're not Facebook friends or any like Telegram friends, Instagram friends. Like they completely don't have access to you. And if they do have access to you in a way, the dynamics are such that they cannot reach out to you. So I'm getting there are past lovers that maybe have new partners now. So there's no way they could reach out to you because like your exes, and that would be really bad in a relationship, even in Mercury retrograde, which I think today's the last day of. That would be really bad to do. So they have to hold themselves back, collective, and it makes them so bitter and so sad. And you can just feel as I'm talking about their emotions, I think you can feel just how strategizing, like how devious your energy is or almost feels to these people, because they say, how can you still be around after all these effing years? Like, how can you still be here when I've moved on? Because collective, people don't move on from you. You need to know that right now. 444 on my timer. People do not move on from you. You think that you are the star of the show and then that show ends. Collective, sometimes you are the only show that ever enters a person's life. You were the show. You were the main character energy. You were the celebrity that entered that person's life. And collective, you often enter people's lives when they don't know anything about you. They don't know your future. They don't know how successful you're going to be. They don't know how charismatic you are and you're going to be. They don't know your potential, collective. I'm getting that God or spirit places you in positions to test people, to rat them out and see how generous they truly are. Because a lot of people front with honesty, but then they lead with dishonesty, is the exact message I'm getting coming through right now. So, they'll make you think that they're sweet, sincere, and honest, but they are not. um, excuse me, getting a confirmation burp there. Yeah, collective, you just leave such a lasting imprint. And there are so many people that remember you fondly, collective. I'm like on the verge of tears feeling some of these people's energy. Like I'm looking around my room and I am seeing memories I have associated with different things. And there's this overwhelming feeling of your energy, collective, that you are nostalgia. You are the safe place people go back to sometimes when they feel there's no other safe place in the world. Sometimes they replay memories of you just so they can feel home again. Sometimes people think back on you and they think, damn, that was the best person to ever happen to me. And they regret things, but also they can't do it differently, right? So they have to move on. But they just have such complicated feelings about you, collective, because you are so mystical, you are so beautiful and ethereal that you only touch people's lives for these brief moments that to you, yes, may feel long in the moment, but to them it's everything. Like, just collective, imagine how magical you are. Now imagine you only ever in your life met like one other person such as that. One other person that you ever met like you, right? You'll never forget them. And I feel, collective, that there is a person in each of your lives, at least one, you have met who is that magical. I feel you have been blessed enough that you've met another person who is that radiant, that magical, that they helped reflect some of that back onto you and made you aware of your own specialness. And they stood out to you, but you don't realize that you're that position for so many people, so many people. Like Zadkiel is saying, like, you heal by forgiving. You heal by forgiving so much that you don't even know you forgave. He's saying that you saw things done in the quiet, done in secret, and you said nothing. You could have destroyed people's lives, collectives, with some of the things you saw, experienced, and felt, some of the things you were told and that you heard, that you've seen. You could destroy people's lives with it. But collective, you are like a closed vault. You decide to let karma play their hand out. And even though you have every right and every power within you to like call down judgment on these people, I'm getting that you very rarely do that because you exercise great caution with your abilities. You recognize how weighty the mantle is that you carry. You hold so many people's lives and souls in your hands, collective. You don't even realize how much power you really have, but you are responsible with the power you do perceive that you have. And a lot of the reason for that is because you've had power mishandled before against you. You've had people misuse power on you and over you and for you. So in your childhood, this probably manifested as other people making decisions for you when you weren't in a position to make a decision for yourself. And that decision did not turn out to be in your best interest. And in fact, they may have known it when they did it in your childhood. They may have known, oh, this probably isn't in collective's best interest, but we're going to do it anyway because that's what I want to do. That energy is coming through for some of your caretakers, collective, and also some of the friends and people and children in your life. Yeah, when you were kids, collective, like the world was cruel to you. Even when you look back and think how kind the world was to you, there was so much cruelness towards you. You don't even realize because you just forgave it so quickly. Yeah. And yeah, I'm getting, and I just saw my numbers for checking in with my spirit guides. So like that may also be a point for you to check in on for yourself with your spirit team, or just do some journaling. Thinking back on all the stuff you overlooked, because I'm getting, collective, you need to understand you overlooked so much and you don't give yourself nearly enough credit for all that you overlooked. You could be way more vengeful. I'm seeing the image of Joker in like the purple suit. It's like, you could be way more vengeful, but you're not. And sometimes you need to look in the mirror and appreciate the person you chose not to become. Not just the person you became, but the person you chose not to become. You could have become very different then you are collective. You made an intentional choice. There was a switch moment in your childhood. I'm getting for some of you, it was around 16 years old. You had like a crossway point in your life. You either chose to go down this like route of debauchery, or you chose to go down this route of like enlightenment. For whatever you understood it at the time, take that how it resonates. So for some of you, like the debauchery may have manifested as like physical 3D world stuff. Maybe it was like special interests you had, or obsessions or addictions you had. Or the other hand that you were dealt, or that you were given, was like some sort of spiritual enlightenment. So this was like pursuing a religion or spirituality, pursuing a collective, like a group of people, pursuing a hobby or an action or sport. But basically I'm seeing that there was this fork point for you, collective, and a lot of you chose in this earlier stage in your life to like be the good person. I don't know if that'll resonate for everybody, but that's coming through for quite a lot of you. You chose to build your character, even though when you look back now, that's probably not the way you would choose to build your character now, but it was part of your story arc. It was part of your journey. And it's so, so, so important, collective, that you understand that you have lived a journey. You have been the a-hole in some people's lives. You have been like, God, I wish I need a better word for this. You have been the jerk in some people's experiences, I'll just say. And you learned from it, and then you moved on from it, right? And so I'm not trying to build you guys up as like this perfect collective that's never made mistakes or never actually pissed people off. But what I'm saying is just overwhelmingly, you've always chosen the side of good. Like whatever you perceived good to be, you've always done your best to adhere to that. And it doesn't matter if that definition and perception of good matches other people's. We're not here to compare because it's so relative, and like the word nonchalant comes through, but it's like, it doesn't matter. Whatever you perceived good to be. Like if you thought it would be good if you shared your candy bar with a friend, like you did it. I'm getting you're that kind of a person. Like if you thought, oh, I should put my cart back at the grocery store even though no one's watching because I don't want to have to make the cart fetcher like have to work extra hard to get this, and I don't want it to like hit a car. You know, you put your cart back, right? You thought that through, and you put your cart back. You're a collective that's constantly doing these little minor acts of goodness, thinking that it's normal and the right thing to do, quote unquote. But collective, I'm here to tell you today, and Zadkiel is like kind of wagging his finger. He's like, you always have a choice. I'm seeing 2222 on my timer as I'm saying this. Zadkiel wants you to know, it's like you are so merciful in the people around you. You don't realize it. Because you look around and see the opportunity for justice, where other people look around and see opportunities for judgment. And those energies are so different. And Zadkiel is saying, you've been so merciful to people that deserved judgment. You gave them justice instead. I'm getting emotional as I channel this, because collective, for there are people in your life that it's taking me a moment to say this because I'm like about to burst into tears, because it's just like, this is such a big message coming through for you, and there's so much emotion in it. There's people in your life that wronged you. Okay. People in your life that wronged you really bad, major bad. You could have done things. I'm hearing you could have put some of these people in jail. You could have put these people behind bars. Yeah, you could have done that because the degree of what they did was that level, and you had evidence too. A lot of you had evidence to do this. And my heart goes out to you. I've been in this position before, actually. So I don't always say when I resonate with parts of the collective channeling, but this is definitely one that I do. But yeah, collective, you chose instead to disadvantage yourself and overlook those opportunities you had for calling judgment on that person, and you gave them justice. And what I'm getting that this justice is that you gave them as fair a trial as you could have, while taking into account all of the injustice that had happened to that person, because you were able to expand your view out and see, like, you know what, that person got beat on a lot. You know, that person got assaulted as a kid. You know, that person had this. Like, you collective, you would just list out all of these bad things that you knew or suspected that you knew happened to this other person. And you would justify it and say, like, well, I know they're really stressed out. I know they're really sad. I know they're angry and they're hurt and they're this. And collective, you were just overwhelmingly the bigger person. I'm so sorry you had to be that bigger person, because it's like, you could have called judgment on that person. You literally could have put people in jail for what they did. You literally could have made that person's life a living HE double hockey stick. And you chose not to, because I'm seeing 444 on my timer. Because collective, you're a group of people that always believes in a bigger hope and a bigger dream. And collective, you believed by sparing this person, you believed you were turning the other cheek and you said, someday it'll come back to me. Like, someday this will work out for me. Even though this hurts right now, even though this is not advantageous to me right now, I'm going to do this and it is going to work out better for me because of it. And you were just so strong, collective. Like, you were just so strong and immovable that even if other people told you, like, you got to pursue legal action or you got to do this, they need to get what's coming to them, you said no, because they've had enough coming to them, and the world won't end if they don't get, quote unquote, what's coming to them. You're like, the world is the way it is because people keep turning to each other and saying, this is what's coming to you. It's a never ending cycle of abuse and stereotypes and cruelty and anger and hurt, because hurt people hurt other people. And you, collective, were able to look. I'm like getting this really interesting view of like you looking inside yourself, past your own shell as like a mortal human being, past into the core of you. And you're like, I've been so hurt here. And yet when I look out at this other person, I see they are a shell as well. This is also just a human being, like in the matrix, existing in the world. And their actions were programmed into them from a young age, from how their parents treated them, the society treated them, how their jobs treated them, coworkers treated them, ex-lovers treated them, their friends treated them, siblings treated them, how they even treated themselves. And collective, you said, if no one else sees this person, I will see this person. In this moment, I'll see them. And you chose to be the bigger person and you left. You walked away from it. There are situations, collective, you walked away from because it was either you walk away or you're going down swinging. Like lots of people are getting hurt. You're dragging everyone through the mud, and you didn't want to do that. So you have had times you really held yourself back, collective, and you thought you were going crazy because part of you wanted vengeance very much. Part of you wanted judgment very much. And I'm even getting, for some of you, that you weren't in touch enough with your anger to feel that. You were just sad. You just felt overwhelmingly sad for the person. So either you felt very angry or you felt very sad, depending on whether you were externalizing your anger in the form of anger or internalizing your anger in the form of sadness. So whichever way, though, you tried to be kind, collective. You're like, it's a cruel world. If all I can do is be kind, then I'm going to do it. Like, if I can do nothing else to change the world, I will change me. This is such a tough channeling to do. There's been multiple times, like, I'm just like holding back tears because this is a collective that's just like, there's so many layers to you. Like there are to everyone else in this collective, right? Has all these layers, and your layers are just so sad. It's like you have this divine Heyoka empath intuitive overlay to you. And so that's what people see, is they see someone who is funny, who's witty, who's charming, able to just laugh at the absurdities. They don't realize like the deep pain underneath that is masked by, the laughter or the insecurities or the things like that. It's like, collective, you're still alchemizing grief over some things in your life. That will never be the same because of the things that some people have done. And you're still learning to be okay with it. And sometimes your laughter is real, and sometimes it is the mask that you wear, because it's the only pure way to alchemize the grief that you feel. Because I'm getting that for some of you, tears alone don't do it justice. You've already cried your heart out about certain things so much, to such an extent, you can't cry anymore. So you have to just embrace whatever emotion comes up when you're processing the grief, when you're processing some of these negative and dark emotions. Sometimes that's just laughter because it doesn't even make sense why it happened. Like, it's just so effed up that it would ever happen to anyone, but let alone you. And so, excuse me, all you can do is laugh. At a certain point, you have no more tears left to cry. All you can do is just kind of laugh and be like, damn, that's the human experience. Like, it's so tough, collective. It's really, really tough. There's so many people who will never be able to peel back these gauze layers of you, I feel, in the manner that I am doing, and helping you to be seen for who you really are. And that really pains me, collective, to know that about you, to be able to touch your energy so intimately, and to see you and experience you and resonate, with you, and walk these journeys together, even reminiscing at times about my own journeys I've had, my own parts I have played in stories like this. And it's so tough that the world can never really see us as we are. The world only sees us when we are. And I say this all the time because everyone changes. And so each brief moment in time, we're only ever meeting a person when they are in that moment. The me you would have met 10 years ago was a completely different person than the one that is doing this channeling for you right now. She's completely different. Um, she's not better or worse. She's just an entirely different human being. I had a and I'll be honest, I had a different name 10 years ago. I used to be married. Yeah, I divorced pretty young. I married young and I divorced young. That's a story for another time maybe. But yeah, the paths that we walk, they're all so different and so layered and nuanced. And it's such a privilege, it's such a blessing, and it's such a lesson for me to be able to channel this for you, collected, to help you be seen, to help you be properly reflected, because it's so hard to do your own surgery. I'm getting it's so hard to bandage your own wound. It's so hard to lift the layers of your own garments, right? So when someone else can do that for you, it's better. It just lightens the load a little bit. It just takes a little bit of the goddamn tomfoolery out of everything for a minute, and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm not crazy. See, like, this person can get it, so, like, I'm not crazy for thinking that, because I relate to that. um yeah. Man, you got me running through my emotions, collective. Goodness. um you're just such a wellspring of emotions. I wonder if perhaps you have water placements, like Scorpio. I'm also getting Sagittarius placements for a lot of you. The Scorpio, the Sagittarius. Your Pluto and Jupiter placements, wherever those are, may also be relevant for you at this time. Um, yeah. Let me see anything else. Yeah. Sorry, getting like a little lost in spacey in this energy as I'm probing into it. It's just this feeling of calm and quiet now. It felt like I was channeling so incredibly viciously fast and urgently and empathetically and energetically, and then all of a sudden the wind went out of my sails and I just like slumped. So collective, you may also be a experiencing types of emotions, or this just may be something you often go through, where you go through periods of high emotional sensitivity, um and then have whiplash of, like, you descend into this lower state where you have to recuperate and collect yourself again. And I hear re-intensify your journey. Like, it's almost like you expand and contract. It's reminding me of those little toys. What do they call them? The ones that kids play with. Maybe I'll put one of those in the pictures for this. Where it's like it contracts all tiny and then they pull it out and it's this big globe kind of thing, like a connect. Like, I don't know. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. Um, yeah, I'll try and get a picture of that. But yeah, collective. I'm gonna tie this all back to the beginning. You have something secretive going on right now. Um, I feel like we had a nice little divergence, a nice little tangent off into the distance. We went down that, and that was cathartic and healing. But there's a secret that you are nursing right now, something that you are wooing in the silence. You are growing in your womb. Something being created, something being birthed. You're not to the birthing stage just yet. I'm seeing 333 on my timer. Probably collaboration energy will be helpful for you with this birthing process. But um, I'm really getting, collective, you need to be loud about whatever it is that you're birthing, like whatever, excuse me, confirmation burp. Whatever you're trying to bring into this world, you need to be loud and proud about it. I'm not saying to tip your hand too early. I'm just saying be confident. Whenever you unleash this or unveil this or unravel this or unwrap this for the world, whatever word feels right for you, just be very confident about it. You've put a lot of time and energy into this collective. You have nurtured this and nursed this like it was in a cocoon, and you have hidden it from a lot of prying eyes. This is something that's been festering almost deep in your soul. Something has been crying out for you to do, and you've finally been listening to it. And something is blooming and blossoming because of it. It's changing into something entirely new. You need to be proud of it no matter what form it emerges as. I'm getting, there's this energy of, when you have a kid, you don't get to control what your kid likes, what they do, what their interests are, what their hobbies are, what their personalities like. You maybe this will resonate for some of you. I'm getting, sometimes parents have kids thinking they'll be exactly like them. and they think, oh, of course I'll love my kids. They'll be just like me. But then their kids are not like them at all. Like not even soul family, like totally different soul missions, totally different purposes. And sometimes those parents find it really hard to love their kids because, for instance, they're conservative, but they have a liberal kid and they get upset because that's their kid. They thought they were creating more conservatives. So there's this feeling of, this is going to be a tough message for you to hear, collective, but there's this feeling of you have to let people do whatever they want with the services that you offer, with the child that you offer, with the things you bring into this world, like whatever it is, something that belongs to you or that you birthed or created. When you release it into the wild and into the world, it's no longer yours anymore. You're simply the steward of it. You're the shepherd, like the sheep keeper or shopkeeper. I'm literally hearing shopkeeper. You're the shopkeeper of it. But you don't own it any more than you own anything else in your life, really. But belongings are always temporary. They're always borrowed because when you die, you don't have your belongings anymore, right? Those go to someone else. Even during the course of your life, you'll clear stuff out and something that was yours a year ago is no longer yours. So there's this feeling, collective, of you. I'm very strongly being asked to tell you, you have to let go of how other people perceive your work because it's not up to you. It's up to them. That's their right. That's their right as people, is to decide what you did was right or wrong, good or bad, just or evil. Like and it's not a morality thing. This is a very difficult energy to channel into. I'm really trying my best to make it as accurate as I possibly can, not lose the meaning of this feeling and this visual that I'm seeing and getting. You can't control everyone, collective. You have to let go of other people perceiving you incorrectly, of other people dishonoring your work. You have to let go of other people. I'm hearing taking care of your child, so that's probably specific for someone. Like, you cannot control everything. So you have to understand, they say the cost of community is inconvenience, right? So the cost of friendship, the cost of home and homemaking, the cost of community and having connections is that people will not always agree with you. They will not always line up to support you for what you do. They will not always take away the quote unquote right interpretation your art was meant to inspire. Because, collective, 100 people can look at a piece of art and they can each walk away with a different interpretation, and none of them may match the original intention you made that art piece with. Because that's the internet, baby. Is what I'm hearing. It's actually reminding me of when we post content online. And I say we, so I bet a lot of you are content creators or you're thinking about being content creators. When you post it online and you send it out into the internet, your job is done. You have birthed your creation and now it is in the hands of the world. You are simply the steward. You're the shopkeeper of that item, of that thing. You don't own it anymore, though. It no longer belongs to you. It belongs to the collective. The ideas that you birth in a creation, that spirit speaks through you to tell other people, that's no longer yours. You have to let go of it. A lot of people attach ownership to ideas or things and belongings, and you just can't do that, collective. I'm actually getting you're holding too tightly to something, or the thing that you're trying to birth into this world. You're so afraid of how people will interpret it, you can't let it go. And because you can't let it go, you can't birth it. Like, you're stuck in labor almost with this object. And you're at this point, or you're approaching this point. It's becoming pretty undeniable what you're working on. Like, people can see. We know. Like, you're pregnant. It's that sort of thing of, we've passed the point, well past the point of, I think this person might be working on something. Oh, it's now to the point that the people who know, they know. And the people who don't really get it, they're going to know very soon. And, collective, you cannot hold too tightly to this thing. And Spirit is really, really, really hammering this home. Whatever project or thing you're working on that you're trying to bring into the world. And I'm seeing 911 again, which is, again, the numbers that my spirit guides use for me to tap base with them on something. So, like, talk to your guides about this, journal about this. It's very urgent. It's very important for you to do it. If you hold too tightly, collective, it'll never be birthed into the world. I'm not saying this because you won't do it. I know you'll do it. You're here listening to this channel because it's in your energy that there's a version of you that exists, which has completed this and birthed this project into the world. You're wrestling right now with the dysphonia I'm hearing. I forget what that means. I think it's like bad sound or mismatched sound or something, or like unpleasant sensation from sound, but I'll have to look up what dysphonia means. But it's like the frequency this thing held inside of you, as you are birthing it into this world, its resonance is changing. And I'm getting this is upsetting you and bothering you a lot because you see when it leaves you and it goes outside of yourself, it's suddenly influenced by all these perceptions and all these perspectives. And like you want to convey a simple truth or a helpful exercise or just something wise. And it's so vulnerable because it feels like people can just take that and manipulate it and just do anything they want with it. And excuse me, collective, I'm getting you really hate to be misunderstood. You know that you're not understood, but like more than that, you hate being misunderstood. And to clarify that further, it's okay if no one understands you. Like it's okay if no one understands you and they say, I don't understand you, because how could they? But if someone claims to understand you and they understand you the wrong way, that really pisses you off, I'm hearing. Um, it really hurts your ego, particularly. It's like you're okay being not understood. You're not okay as much being misunderstood. Um, or purposely misunderstood. That pisses you off too, I'm getting. So, but the thing is, as a creator, as a content creator, book creator, job creator, business website creator, like when you create, people judge. Okay. And everyone has the choice to say justice or judgment for you. Okay. Zadkiel is reminding me of that. You know, people can look at you and agree with you, vouch for you, lift you up, exalt you, or people can look for ways to drag you down. And I will tell you this, collective, and I feel this like amused energy coming through from spirit as I channel this. The people who have time to comment on your creations and who have time to critique your creations, they are often not creating themselves. Like seriously, if you look, the people who have the most time to be critical of others have absolutely F all going for themselves. Like it it's actually laughable. Um Same energy as when like trolls online are critiquing women, like celebrities gaining 10 or 15 pounds, and then you look at their profile pictures and they are all so ugly. They're nowhere near as beautiful and as in shape as the women they're critiquing, or vice versa for men, you know. Like there's these men that's like, oh, he shaved his beard or something, but then it's like, who's commenting that? um yeah, so there's this energy, collective, of do not mind, do not care what other people have to say about your creation. You're creating it for a reason. The reason it's entrusted to you, collective, is because, as you can see, other people can't even begin to conceptualize the brilliance you're bringing into this world. It takes so much effort, collective, to create. It takes so much to show up every single day and just be. It takes so much to show up and let other people have their opinions of you. Um, I say that with so much love because I show up here almost every day letting people have their opinions of me. And I just have to be unfazed about it because it's not ultimately a reflection of me. I produce what I produce, I channel what I channel, and then I put it out there, and that's what it's meant for, right? Whoever it's meant for, it finds them. If it's not meant for the person, they'll know it too, and they just leave it alone. Um, but yeah, you've got to let go of something, collective. I think it's maybe perfectionism. Maybe perfectionism is playing a little bit of a role here. You can't create the perfect work of art, I'm hearing. And there's a sadness in this. It's like, even if your work of art is perfect, there's no such thing as perfection in an imperfect world. Because, collective, you are perfection in an imperfect world, and you're still imperfect, right? You can't, it's literally impossible to create something that isn't divisive. Anything you can think of, someone hates it. I could say rainbows, and there's going to be, I don't know if someone in this collective per se, but there will be someone in the world who says, I hate rainbows, I never want to see another rainbow. Like, I even hate that voice I just did there. But yeah, like, you could say, oh, I like butterflies, and then someone could say, butterflies are the stupidest insects, they're so gross, I don't even understand, right? Or they'll be like, butterflies scare me. Like, no matter what, collective, everyone's just going to have an opinion. You're always going to be too much for some people and not enough for others. You're always going to be too weird for some and too straightforward for others. Okay. So you just have to lean into who you are and recognize that your frequency wave will eventually attract the people who are oscillating at the same like temperature and vibration as you. Okay. That's why authenticity is so important, because, collective, I'm hearing when you put on a facade for too long, you lose sight of who you are. You lose yourself in that facade. Um, And it becomes very difficult for you to progress in your journey because you temporarily attract unhealed people who match that frequency. Like when you step into your unhealed version of yourself, other people who are unhealed also step with that version of yourself. So if you've ever had times where you think suddenly you're getting a lot of friends, even when you're going through a low point in your life, you're like, oh, great, I'm getting friends. But then that friend group implodes, or people start gossiping, or something's just not quite right. Like one of them's really strange. Excuse me. Wow, I'm getting a big burp on that one. Something's really strange in a not okay way. And you just gotta hightail it out of there, right? Sometimes you realize, oh, I did attract friends and we did resonate for a time, but when I healed, they didn't. You may notice this a lot, collective. I'm getting that you're a collective which often finds themselves um, unable to move on in the same way that they proceeded. Okay, take that how you will, that phrasing. It's like you may be at point D on your journey. And so then you encounter other point D people. But your point D to some is like their point Z. I'm getting. I wonder if some of you are Canadian or foreign or something, because I'm not getting Z, I'm getting Z. Um, so yeah, these other people, like you've already reached their final destination. Like that's the vibration they're gonna have for the rest of their lives for some of them, more or less. I know that sounds crazy, but collective, not many people are like you. Not many people continually up level themselves like you. Believe it or not, there are people that get so burnt out on all of this, they never want to do any more healing again. And they just dig their heels in and they're like, nope, I'm done. Like that's actually it. Um, and that is it for some of them because we have free will and we can choose to self destruct. We can choose to sabotage or self sabotage. We can choose to be worse than what we really are, collective. And that's our choice, right? Doesn't mean it's a good choice, just means it's our choice. So, yeah, but so you resonate with them at that point D, level D or whatever. And suddenly you advance to level E because all you needed was a little bit of support while you were on that rung of the ladder, right? All you need was a little bit of energy, a little bit of time and affection and companionship and friendship. And this can be the same for lovers too, you know. Then you move on and you're thinking, oh great, we're all up leveling. No, collective, no. um I'm getting like the meme version of that. I saw a lot of, I feel again, this collective's so funny. I get so many memes for you guys when I'm channeling stuff that I see or just based on my words. It's really entertaining. Um, yeah. So they stay where they are and you move on. And then you start having friction with this group and you can't for the life of you understand why everything seems to be spiraling fast backwards. And it's because you're up leveling, collective, and they're not. So it feels like friction simply because you're leaving where they're at, actually. You're like, in a way, you're the problem. I say that with love. Because I don't mean you're a problem, but to be silly about it, you're the problem. If you just stayed at level D with them, you would vibe. You would vibe forever, you know? As long as they stayed at that level, y'all would just vibe forever. You wouldn't have misunderstandings. You wouldn't have these like group ending discussions or differences of opinion. I just had the strangest feeling of a lot of people around me, by the way, collective. I don't know if you're in a place with a lot of people around you or just like a lot of your guides, but like I'm literally looking like left and right at my shoulder. It just feels there just feels like there's a lot of people here. Okay, anyway, that was a strange aside. But what about these channelings is not strange. It's part of what makes them fun. So yeah, anyway, collective, just keep I'm gonna try and wrap this up because I know I've gotten a little long-winded here with your channeling. Um, just keep on being you and um keep expanding your mind, keep contracting and expanding, just like that kid's toy. Okay. Um, keep looking out for the signs and synchronicities. When you have I'm hearing when you have nothing else left to go off of faith alone. Because when you have faith, collective, your faith is more solid and tangible than a lot of people's material 3D world. You have to understand that. Faith for you is not an intangible thing. The fact that you constantly like manifest around me, like I'll think of you, Purple Collective, and then I'll see something purple, like, or I'll just see something relative to your collective. And once again, I'm getting 911. So this is the third time. I don't know if you guys like to ignore your spirit guides or your spiritual team or you ignore your spiritual practice. I'm sorry to call you out, but this is the third time in this channeling that I've seen 911. So it's like there's something really urgent you got to talk to your guides about. So do those other two things. And also, you know, this one, obviously, since it's showing up now. But yeah, collective, all that being said, You're such a wonderful collective channel for. I so appreciate you trusting me with your energy. I I'm like slipping into this speech that I do after I do energy healings for people. So maybe there's been some healing effect that this has had on you, collective, because I feel that same kind of gratitude and honor of being cherished with something sacred and secret. I feel you guys have entrusted me with this step of your journey. Like you've entrusted me to help translate the experience for you that you're having in the astral and the non-tangible world, that you're maybe having a harder time grounding into the 3D, but that I can help you to ground it and translate it and make it an experience you can understand. I think that's a lot of what I do is I just translate unseen stuff into the scene. I bring it down to earth, even if it's super ethereal and woo woo. I'll go up there with it and we'll dance and mingle, and then I'll say, "Here's what it actually means," as best as I understand it. So, um, yeah, please do leave a comment about whatever parts resonated and drop a like and subscribe. Help the channel grow and reach more people because there's lots of people that these messages need to reach. But for now, I'm actually pretty happy that it's a small group because it's less chaotic to channel the energies since it's not as big currently with the active members. But um, yeah, that's all I got to say for this collective. So I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.